Advertising casts a verbal and emotional net so wide that no American can escape it.
Part of the art of being a woman is knowing when not to be too much of a lady.
So was habe ich noch nie getoastet. Oh.
Don't leave home without it.
The 30-second seduction. It happens every day. You are constantly bombarded by TV ads, all competing for your attention. In the next half hour, Consumer Reports will take a hard look at what's behind the TV pitch. What do commercials tell us? Are they ever deceptive? Just how do the ads rate? $20 billion. That's the estimated price tag for TV ads in 1985. TV commercials are a major influence on what you buy, but the messages are often mixed. Over the last 35 years, commercials have become a constant part of our daily lives and a reflection of our dreams. Television moved advertising into a new age. In the early days of TV advertising, it was sometimes hard to tell where the program ended and the commercials began.
The cigarette girl, she was telling me how many smokers have changed to filters.
And how popular Kent is.
And I told her how Kent satisfies best.
Oh, the repartee.
The commercials were nothing fancy, but even then you could spot the basic tricks of the trade, like celebrity endorsements.
Wait a minute. If you're not Dennis Day, how did you know I was Jack Benny?
Who else would buy 1 gallon?
Darling, are you enjoying the good things in life?
And sex. Promises, promises. And sex.
Here we go!
Dreams come true. Sex. Questionable claims.
This is super lathering candy.
And then there was always sex.
Oh, it has twice the lather of regular soap.
I feel it. I feel it.
You do.
Edward?
Rosalie?
Fun, popularity, the good life. It seemed they could be yours for the price of a product. It may not appear that much has changed since the 1950s, but it has. In the last 35 years, television viewing has almost doubled. On average, that's more than 7 hours daily. And TV advertisers are spending 20 times more overall than they did in 1955. Figured by the second, even a big Hollywood movie costs less to make than a TV commercial like this Apple Macintosh ad. January 22nd, 1984. Super Bowl 18. Apple Incorporated reportedly pays almost $2 million for 60 seconds of America's attention. The ad is shown only once nationwide. And Apple claims to sell an estimated $100 million worth of computers within 10 days. The advertisers behind this ad took a big risk and say it paid off. But many ads don't succeed, partly because there's too much on-air clutter. Are people just not paying attention to commercials anymore?
Yes, they are paying less attention to commercials than they used to, simply because there are so many more commercials on the air. There are two reasons why there are more commercials. One is the increased number of channels, the increased choice that the viewer has, and the fact that there are more messages coming at him from more different places at the same time. So the task of advertising is to capture attention, and advertisers do that with technique. They do that with pretty girls, they do that with exciting and dramatic backgrounds, they do that by creating a mood and a feeling, they do that by summoning up emotions, but they do that by talking about everything other than the inherent merits of the product itself. The secret of successful advertising is in creative execution. It's in the ability to take the information about the market and about media and to use that only as the base from which to take off for an expression of ingenious ideas that capture attention, arouse the imagination, and become persuasive to the people who get the message.
Getting your attention is Joseph Sadelmeyer's specialty. He's one of TV advertising's most successful directors, and he uses humor as the sweetener that gets us to accept the sell. Here's a sample of his work.
Clinical tests have proven that everything you like is hazardous to your health. As a result, people are being required to modify their habits.
You did a bang-up job. I'm putting you in charge of Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, perfect.
I know it's perfect, Peter. That's why I picked Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's perfect, Peter. May I call you Pete?
Call me Pete.
Pete.
Where's the beef? Where's the beef?
I think you have to entertain people first. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're just talking to someone. You have to get their attention. And I don't believe in getting your attention by slapping you in the face or, like the old hard sell commercials. I don't think you need to do that.
We're on location with Sadelmeyer, who's in the process of making another commercial. This one featuring, of all things, a store for telephone poles.
But one thing a commercial can do, and that is it can create this atmosphere, this feeling that you like it, or and it gives you a good feeling or a bad feeling about that company or that advertiser. And I think that's very important. I think a lot of times that advertisers miss out on that because they say, look, I've got 30 seconds. I want to say this, I want to say this, I want to say this. I want to fill up, boy, I want to get my money's worth. Well, they end up being gray. And you can only do so much. But when you do that, do it well and create that feeling.
Joseph Sadelmeyer has created that feeling and a universal comic style that's become his signature. But most TV ads rely on more than humor to seduce you. Advertisers need to find out all about you and how you see yourself. And that's the job of market research. Research says if you're 25 to 49 years old, rugged, outdoorsy, and something of an individualist, then you fit the Grape Nuts profile. They've created this commercial in your image.
You know when you have it good.
Yes, you know when you have it good.
Research also showed Miller that beer drinkers do most of their drinking at the end of the day after work. So Miller changed its marketing strategy and introduced Miller Time.
Come on, Slowpoke. It's Miller time.
Not when it's as easy as this.
And research told Kodak what usually went wrong with our snapshots. That led Kodak to invent a goof-proof disc camera. Its latest TV campaign is still going strong.
Kodak, official sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team.
Not only do those ad men know who you are and what you watch, they even know how you watch. They use research laboratories like this one, where technicians monitor how and how long we watch commercials. They use sophisticated equipment like the eye tracker to pinpoint exactly what catches your eye.
Caffeine-free, Pepsi-free, because life is stimulating.
Advertisers also want to know what you remember. They hire market researchers to ask people on the streets and in malls about their favorite ads.
Well, not Jell-O, for the pudding with Bill Cosby.
McDonald's.
Well, my favorite ones are the ones with the children.
The one with the cat, and it has the little birds that walk by it.
I'm not really sure of the product. All I know is I think it's maybe a granola bar, and
I don't know.
I don't usually watch commercials.
I cannot think of a single one.
They pass by in such numbers.
I think the Purelator commercial, Federal Express, is that what?
With all this research, TV advertising is still more an art than a science. And most commercials, like this one, are aimed at your emotions.
You know, there's one choice I'll never regret. Politics? Being a mother.
Advertising casts a verbal and emotional net so wide that no American can escape it. And what it's always trading off of are basic fears and assumptions and passions. Chanel has a really good example of using sex in advertising. And what's happening here is that it's done indirectly and it's projective. What we're invited to do is to share the fantasies of this particular person. And it's another example of what advertising consistently does, is that it projects into the future. And it is always offering us a vision of the future which depends on an action in the present, and that action is invariably the purchase of a particular product. The Mother's Day greeting card is a really effective example of pure, unadulterated nostalgia. Simple, elegant emotion. There's always going to be some emotion or some passion, some kind of fear or anxiety that's going to be projected in advertising. And this ad demonstrates it really effectively. What Budweiser is doing here is not so much selling beer as it is selling pure American values. You can see it in the setting and the nature of the farm. Really traditional, simple American values are being traded on in the ad in a really very, very effective way. Search and Counter commercial is a really good example of advertising's ability to trade effectively off of fear and anxiety. What it does is it creates a dramatic situation, creates a problem, the solution to which is invariably the purchase of a product. It's just a dramatic rendition of the old classic Certs line, if he kissed you once, will he kiss you again? Be certain, use Certs.
Sex, fear, patriotism, and nostalgia may be able to hook you, but can they keep you? Zapping or zipping, whatever you call it, it's a way of avoiding commercials. And it can mean millions of dollars down the drain for advertisers. Phil Dusenberry, creator of the recent Pepsi and GE campaigns.
There are two things we're faced with in our business today. The double Z's, zipping and zapping. Zipping is that the way you can just zip around from one station to another when you're watching television. And the more dreaded Z, of course, is zapping, where on your VCR you can fast forward right past the cell and skip the cell completely. How do you stop it? And I think the answer to that is simple. Although how to get there isn't simple. And it's simply entertainment in advertising. Creating something that's so compelling, so watchable, so engaging, so riveting, that people aren't going to want to zap your commercial. So the name of the game in terms of zapping prevention is to create advertising that's so compelling, so entertaining, something that's going to reach out right away and grab you, be it a famous face or a famous piece of music, or just a wonderfully humorous and compelling piece of film. That's the only way to prevent what is going to be an ever-increasing problem for our business, zapping.
An entertaining commercial may stop zapping, but is entertainment all that consumers need?
If you're in the market for a car, and you don't really want to see people having a happy time in a car, loading their kids into the car, buying a country house because they have this car. You just want to examine the car. And if the camera does that and they give you a few intelligent facts, that might make you more disposed to buying that kind of car. I think there is an intelligent way of giving more information in commercials, but it's awfully hard. So most commercials only reinforce the name and make you feel good about the company, and that's really all you can expect them to do.
TV ads may make you feel so good that you don't even notice when they're stretching the truth. For example, food looks wonderful on TV, but there's a big difference between TV burgers and real burgers. In almost all food commercials, the food is really the star. and it gets about as much makeup as any actor. Food stylist Lloyd Davis reveals some tricks of the trade. How do you get milk to look its best?
The main thing with cereal is the milk. To get the milk, we use Elmer's glue, which is diluted with milk because milk on camera shows up flat, almost bluish, and under lights for a while, it will start to wilt the flakes in no time at all. We strategically place drops of the glue milk mixture. We'll smear around, and voila, breakfast.
How do you make a plump and golden chicken?
Now, the first thing you do as a food stylist is you stuff it with aluminum foil so that it keeps its shape when you put it in the oven. Now, you only cook it for about 20 minutes just so that it will plump, so that you break down the fat on the outside so that we can, yes, paint it. First thing we do is spray it with Delling spray. So next we take our mixture of instant coffee and gravy helper, gravy master, there are all kinds, and we paint our chicken. There we go. Dinner. Some food style.
What's the secret behind fresh brewed coffee?
Ivory soap, which is mixed with water. We get some suds going up here. Take a spoonful of this, stick it in the edge of our cup of coffee, and there. Fresh brewed coffee.
And how do you pick up the shine on a plate of fruit?
Okay, the best way to pick them up is good old vegetable oil, which we brush on to our grapes to make them look freshly washed. And voila.
Food styling on TV appeals to your eye and your appetite. But some food ads take aim at your emotions, leaving out important facts.
I just read about new reports from the National Cancer Institute, and some studies suggest that a high-fiber, low-fat diet may reduce the risk of some kinds of cancer. So I made some changes, like eating Kellogg's All Brand, because ounce for ounce, no food.
What the Kellogg's All Brand ad doesn't tell you is that only one type of cancer, colon cancer, has been studied extensively in relation to fiber. And the National Cancer Institute has found no conclusive evidence that the kind of fiber in All Brand will protect you against colon cancer. Other foods, like fruit and vegetables, are just as good a source of fiber as All Brand. Consumer Reports believes that food ads like All Brand shouldn't play on people's fear of cancer as a sales tool. Ads for extra-strength pain relievers like these suggest that these products are stronger or more effective than regular aspirin or acetaminophen. But Consumer Reports says these over-the-counter pain relievers are no more effective than an equivalent dose of plain aspirin or acetaminophen. Often, the extra strength in these higher-priced pills, like maximum-strength Anacin, Excedrin, and extra-strength Tylenol, has little effect on anything but your wallet.
With a protective coating.
Advertising creates the illusion that there are important differences between brands. Take shampoo ads. According to Consumer Reports, any shampoo will clean your hair. Even a mild dishwashing liquid will do the job, and for a lot less money. You may be seduced into buying an image. Children and TV advertising. TV advertisers spend over $200 million a year trying to get your kids to get you to buy their product. Television can seduce your kids, and in this actual case, several children from the San Francisco area are going to court over ads like this.
Children love Santa's Christmas stories, and now you can have a Christmas present every day with a different story every day. To hear Santa, dial 976-5656.
Some kids spent hundreds of dollars on 976 calls after seeing ads like this. Tricia Brennan, age 8, spent only $20.
I was watching TV, and then I saw these megaphone dial-a-junk things on the TV. And so I said, wow, and I copied down some of the numbers, and so I phoned about 3 or 4 of them in that one day. And so I thought it was pretty neat, so I kept on calling and I kept on calling. And then my mom got the phone bill. She asked me what the 976 number was, told her about it. She said, did you know that this is costing me a lot of money? No. Did you know that you're not supposed to do this? No. Has this ever come on before, the time you saw it on TV? No. I don't want you to do it again. I ran to my room.
The 976 numbers are spread throughout the United States, and it's a growing market. Every major market has been infiltrated, and 976 companies attempt to exploit children. In California, it's estimated for 1985, a minimum of 40 million will be in large measure stolen from children. By 1990, 200 million a year will be stolen from children in California alone. That projects to approximately 2 billion a year stolen from children. And I use the term stolen because Pac Bell and other telephone companies know that most of the money will be made from repeated unauthorized calls, largely from low-income persons, from latchkey children, from language-deficient children, and from new immigrants who do not understand 976 numbers or their telephone rights.
Children are often dazzled by commercials they see on TV, and it's little wonder. For kids, seeing is too often believing. Even most grown-ups assume that advertising claims and facts have been checked by some government agency before they're shown. But usually, that's not the case.
The Federal Trade Commission does not have authority to pre-clear ads. And as a matter of fact, no government agency has that authority across the board for all advertisements. My own view is that most television ads are truthful and contain useful information. However, we have found that there is a significant minority of television ads that contain deceptive statements. One of the companies was Rushhampton, and it ran advertisements for the Ecologizer. The claims included the message that this device would remove tobacco smoke, dust, ragweed, pollen, other contaminants. In order to see whether if that was a true claim, we had tests conducted, and those studies indicated that at most the device would remove up to 15% of dust and pollen. So here's an example of where we took action because consumers could really be deceived.
Consumer Reports evaluated 18 popular commercials to see whether TV advertising gives you useful product information. Of the 18, one stood out above the rest. This Macintosh ad.
It's a highly sophisticated business computer, and to use it, all you have to do is learn this. This is Macintosh from Apple, also a highly sophisticated business computer, and to use it, all you have to do is learn this.
It makes an important and accurate point if you're in the market for an office computer. Some ads give information that Consumer Reports judged useless. This Ford Tempo ad suggests that independent suspension is a unique feature that will give you a good ride. But in Consumer Reports tests, the Tempo's ride was no better than that of other cars in its class. And many other cars have independent four-wheel suspension, too.
But that doesn't mean we don't work just as hard to build in quality.
Ford, you'll feel the quality, because quality is job one.
Most of the ads judged failed to give any consumer information at all, like this Levi's 501 jeans commercial. Overall, Consumer Reports found that while many of the ads judged are entertaining, they just don't tell you what you need to know. So a word to the wise, let the viewer beware. TV commercials. When they're good, we often say they're better than the program. They can catch our eye, make us smile, stir a feeling, create a mood. But when we get bored, we often zap them. Half a minute doesn't sound like a lot of time for a seduction, but in 30 seconds, you can be sold anything from an emotion to a pair of jeans. TV advertising. It's a serious business. So the next time you find yourself caught up in a great commercial, remember, it's a 30-second seduction, and you're the one they're after.